Okay, guys, sorry for the delay. I don't know what it is. Every single time I go live, something technical happens. So, okay, we're on here. Um, I want to cover this, man, because this is very, very important. Watch this. Okay, it looks like oh, some ad's gonna come up here. I want you to see this. This is what's wrong with government. Basically, let me see. Okay. All right, let's key in on some very, very important things everybody's saying here. What they want to do is enact a vaping ban. Anytime you have a ban, you have a prohibition. When you have a prohibition, you have government saying, look, if you don't obey my rules and my regulations and my ordinances and stop selling that stuff, I'm going to initiate unjust force and violence on you. I'm going to take you down. I'm going to take your business down. I'm going to take everybody that you employ down. I'm going to hurt the economy and basically ruin lives under the guise of we have to protect the children. Remember what William the Younger said. Here, I'm just going to turn this around and I'll talk a second. See my ugly keyboard there. Remember what William the Younger said. William Pitt the Younger, he said, necessity is the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants. It's the creed of slaves. And the reason the tyrants argue necessity is because they want to control the people. And the reason the servants argue necessity is because they want the rulers to keep the servants safe. And that's a bunch of BS. Because what if there are people who don't want the tyrants to keep them safe? What if it's like, no, thank you, just leave me alone. I'll keep myself and my family safe. See, with government, you can't opt out. And that's what's wrong with this vaping thing. You can't opt out. Once they make the rule, once they create the law, which is really not a law, it's just the edict of politicians backed by the threat of force. Once they enact that, there's no turning back, or at least not easily. Remember during Prohibition, they actually made it an amendment for, 1920 to 1933, for 13 years. They had this law, this prohibition law. Didn't work out too well. Crime increased. Alcohol didn't decrease. The law enforcement, basically the police state, increased. It was all around bad for everybody. Many, many deaths. It was very expensive, just like the drug war. It's not a war on drugs. It's a war on people. It's not just a prohibition of alcohol. It's not a war on alcohol. It's a war on people. Same with this vaping. It's not a war on vaping for the sake of the children. We must save the children. Hi, I'm from the government. I'm going to keep your kids safe. Yeah, you really believe that? You really believe the government, anybody in government wants to keep your kids safe? If you still think that, then you're under a very, very strong delusion. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. Let me zoom this in and let's play this.
Urgent solution to this issue. You have the solution? We do. Let's negotiate what it is. Yeah, absolutely. Let's hear it. Go ahead.
Mr. President, it's a pleasure and thank you for taking the time to do this. My name is Matthew Myers. I'm the president of the Campaign for Tobacco-Free Kids. I've been working on reducing death and disease from tobacco for 35 years, and I've never seen an epidemic this serious, this rapid, and this intense as caused by the flavors of e-cigarettes among our youth.
And do you think you have a solution?
I think we do have a solution, and I think in September, the solution that you pose is an extraordinarily powerful step in the right direction.
I have it turned up all the way. Let's see. Okay, it's not turned up here all the way. Can you guys hear this okay?
Okay, we'll take a look at it.
Okay, yeah, this is better. Hey, yeah, it's not about vaping is bad, because we already know tobacco use is bad, but no free person wants tobacco banned. At least no free-minded person, no free man wants tobacco bad, because it's nobody's business what you put in your body. You could literally eat turd sandwiches if you want. That's on you. If you try to force a turd sandwich down somebody's throat, that's an issue. Okay, so it's not about vaping being dangerous. It's about securing life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Mr. President, thank you for having me here. I'm Casey Crossway. I became CEO of Juul Labs 8 weeks ago. This is a very serious issue to discuss, so thank you for hosting us to have the discussion. I'm honored to be a part of it. and I look forward to engaging with everyone in the room on solutions to the problem.
So did you know it was going to be so controversial?
Yes, sir, I knew I was stepping into a pretty intense environment, but happy to lead the company and honored to offer solutions here to this problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm Dr. Sally Goza. I'm a pediatrician from Fayetteville, Georgia, and I'm president-elect of the American Academy of Pediatrics, and thank you so much. The children are counting on us.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so far we got the CEO of Juul Marketing. Juul is a vaping company, and you've got a pediatrician. Okay, this is all going to be for we gotta save the kids. We're from the government, and we're here to save your kids. It's BS.
Very much.
Hi, I'm Christopher Butler. I'm Executive Director of Americans for Tax Reform. Thank you so much for having us. We're concerned both about the public policy implications of this for adult vapers, but also we view it as something as a prerequisite of keeping people in the Liberty Coalition that are necessary to us doing everything that we care so much about on economic, tax, and regulatory policy.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm Gary Reedy. I'm CEO of the American Cancer Society and the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. And I want to thank you for making this public health epidemic a national priority.
So where are you? What is your stance? It's a very important position you have. What is your stance on vaping?
Now listen, public health epidemic. Those are scary words. They're meant to scare people. This is the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. We got a problem. We're going to wait for a fear-based reaction, and we, the government, are going to step in and provide the pre-planned solution. They need people in fear. We have a public health epidemic.
E-cigarettes, how are you? Have you taken a stance?
Yes, we have, and we are totally aligned and supporting with the position you took on September the 11th. We think that is a right
That I
step
put forward as a concept.
forward. Correct.
Okay, let me take a look.
Joe Grogan, Director of the Domestic Policy Council. Good afternoon, Mr. President. My name is Scott Ely. I'm the President of the American E-Liquid Manufacturing Standards Association. I know that's kind of a long, we'll call it AIMS. We were founded in 2012, and we open publish manufacturing standards for e-liquid products that anybody, any manufacturer in the industry may use.
And if you don't have high standards, you're going to have some very dangerous things happen. That's what's been happening, right?
Absolutely.
Where people are using devices and other things that are not good, right?
If you don't have high standards, you're going to have some very dangerous things happen. Well, here's the deal. I'd rather have dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery. I don't want to be a slave to anybody. I'll make my own decisions. I'll buy what I want to buy, and I'll teach my kids not to vape. It's not the government's job to save your kids. It's a parent's job.
That potential.
That's a problem. Thank you.
Mr. President, Penny Nance, CEO and President of Concerned Women for America, and we very much support what you put forward in September. We have 500,000 members, many of whom are moms that are very concerned. In addition, they asked me, begged me, delayed me with notes to tell you that they love you and they support you all the way. We appreciate you.
Very
I
nice.
hope you
Thank
do.
you. It's really
Mr.
nice.
President, thank you for having me here. I'm Tim Chapman, the Executive Director of Heritage Action. We are very concerned about this issue. We want to play an active role in helping you get to the right solutions. More importantly, we are big supporters of many of the policies you've been pushing, so thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
I got a solution. Just back off, government. Die down. Stand down. We don't need government involved in what we can or can't put in my bodies. That's very okay. Meeting adjourned. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you showing up.
Mr. President, thank you for the invitation to be here. My name is Harold Wimmer. I'm the President and CEO for the American Lung Association. And on behalf of our organization, I want to thank you for your leadership in bringing this issue to the public light that it needed to be, and for you to also help us focus this on the kids and to really work on this regarding the addiction that kids have on e-cigarettes now.
And what is your position, may I ask?
It's very similar to what you proposed on September 11th.
Yeah, I like what the Time Is Now says. You really think they're worried about vaping? This is misdirection on purpose. Totally agree. Totally agree.
To ban all flavored e-cigarette products.
Yeah, Andrew Caslin says, no worry. Yes, chemtrails are thick in the sky. Goodbye, blue sky. Yeah, they're worried about vape going into the lungs of children. when they're spraying crap every day that just hangs in the atmosphere for days and days on end. Yeah, they really care about what's going into your kids' lungs. That's why they have this poison spray campaign every single day of the week.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for having me here. I'm Mike Huff.
That's what I like about sharing this stuff with you guys and going live, because everybody brings something to the table that, you know, maybe one person didn't think about. There's a lot of stuff going on, and none of us is greater than all of us. So I really appreciate you guys pitching in the comment section.
Senator from Frederick and Carroll County. We're actually home to Camp David, so we'd love to have you there. And this is my part-time job, my other job. I'm Chief of Staff for Congressman Alex Mooney from West Virginia. So we're both big fans of yours. Probably second only to my wife, who was one of your original supporters after you came down the escalators.
Thank you,
I will do that.
Yeah, BC Cop Watch. I'm just going to read some messages, some comments that just jump out at me during this live stream, guys. And then we'll just keep resuming this. The deal is I have to cut in on this, because if I just let it run, then they basically slam your channel. They deperson you. They institute further shadow bans and all that. But BC Cop Watch says bump stocks are illegal because of one mass shooting, but more people still die from hammers. Yeah, these people here, I'm talking about Trump, Romney, and chick, I can't remember her name. Somebody throw it in there. I'm just drawing a blank. But these people don't care. These government officials, they don't care about you. If you think a government official cares about you, cares about securing your freedoms, cares about the wealth that you accumulate and having and protecting that for you, you're wrong. You're just sadly mistaken.
Kellyanne Conway, Counselor to the President.
Yeah, Kellyanne Conway. How could I forget?
Mr. President, thank you very much for not shying away and looking the other way at an emerging public health crisis, and for the courage to invite people from both.
You know, looking the other way is exactly what you want. I mean, if you're going to have politicians, and nobody needs them, you need a politician like you need 50 mosquitoes in your sleeping bag at night or in your tent at night. You don't need them. They're just they're not going to give you anything positive. All they can possibly do is suck the life out of you. So this is utter BS. If you're gonna have a politician, though, remove the stinger from that stinking mosquito so he can't draw any blood out of you. Have him turn the other way. If he's gonna fly, let him fly, as long as he doesn't land on my arm and suck blood out of me.
Sides of the issue in the cabinet room to have this conversation. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Kellyanne.
Mr. President, I'm Senator Mitt Romney. Myself and Senator Merkley have offered legislation.
Let's just straighten that out right now. Let's flip-flop Mitt. That's who it is. Lying Mitt Romney. Flip-flop Mitt.
That is very consistent with your policy from September, your discussion in September, which is to ban flavors so that we don't have kids getting hooked on nicotine products.
Ban flavors so we don't have kids getting hooked on nicotine products. Romney cares about your kids. He wants your kids safe. So what's the answer to keeping your kids safe? Initiate unjust force and violence on you and everybody else to keep your kids safe. I'm going to introduce new levels and new waves of violence on you to keep your kids safe. And if you don't comply, I'm throwing your ass in a cage. Oh, well, but then I can't provide for my kids. And you said you cared about my kids. No, they really don't care about your kids. Walking in Truth says, I don't want these idiots making decisions for the rest of us, not just on this subject, but on all. And I say a big hearty amen.
Also insist that cartridges are tamper-proof, so kids can't add contaminants to the cartridges, but that's very consistent with your point of view.
Now, here's the deal with the free market. It is dangerous, okay? There can be some yahoos out there that can put something in these vape cartridges that kill people. Well, then what do? You make an adjustment as an intelligent person. First of all, I don't know why anybody would want to breathe something in their lungs but oxygen anyway. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But you can put whatever you want to in your body. You can smoke marijuana. You can shoot up heroin. You can do whatever you want to. It's your body, and I have no right to tell you you can't shoot up heroin or do lines of coke or whatever. Is it dangerous? Is it destructive for you? Yeah. So when you make yourself sick and you're on your last leg, don't expect me or the rest of society to cover for your stupidity, your lifelong stupidity and your addiction. People do get addicted, but listen, It's a choice, even in addiction. And I know it's physiologically powerful, it's mentally powerful, it's psychologically powerful. Addiction is very real, but you make a choice. You make a choice to put that cigarette to your lips. You make a choice to put that needle to your veins. It's you that made a choice. Nobody's sticking a gun to your head saying, here, poison yourself. So there is there's danger, massive dangers and freedoms, but nothing is more dangerous than having a group of psychopaths have a monopoly on force and violence and make the rest of us do something against our will and without our consent. There's been nothing more dangerous than that. That will cause more lives to be lost. That'll cause more money to be spent. That'll wage a war of incalculable measures. And all you got to do is look at the quote unquote war on drugs, which is really a war on people. And by the way, they can't even keep drugs out of prisons. How are they going to successfully ban vaping products? Give me a break.
Thank you, Matt. Well, this is a very big subject, and it's a very complex subject, probably a little bit less complex.
It's really not a complex subject, guys. But politicians have to make it complex because they have to make you think they're actually doing a job for $174,000 a year for the base congressman. They have to make you think that they're actually fighting for the American people to sustain this delusion and this illusion called government and Congress and the 535 in the House and the Senate. It's all just a bunch of smokescreen BS.
Complex than some people think, but I'm here to listen, and I have very divergent views. Who would like to start?
Okay, before they start, Brandon Kind, thanks for the super chat, man. Says, my body, my choice, the goose, and the gander. Yeah, exactly. Where are all the feminists out there saying my body, my choice? Where are all of them rising up against this stupid vaping ban? Where are all of them rising up against the stupid drug enforcement policies? How come they don't mobilize against Washington's District of Criminals for that? But they'll rise up and say, my body, my choice when it comes to killing a human being in the womb. Where's the logic in that?
I'd ask Alex just give us a little bit of a background on where we are, what we're doing, what we're thinking about.
Sure. Well, thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your work and leadership on this issue. Your attention to it demonstrates your deep commitment to Americans' health and, in particular, the health and well-being of our youth. While e-cigarettes can potentially be an off-ramp for adults that are addicted to combustible tobacco, we can...
Potentially, they are. And I don't know what the deal is with the lack of research on this. I know a lot of people who quit smoking by transferring and transitioning over to vape, and they're very thankful. So I see the power. I've seen the power of addiction to nicotine in my life. My dad was heavily addicted to cigarettes. I think he was smoking like 2 or 3 packs a day till the day he died. And so I can see the value of vaping on the market and how it can be an off-ramp to get away from tobacco products. And this is why they should, I mean, even if that wasn't the case, nobody has the right to tell you what you can or can't put in your body, period. That's how simple it is.
all agree that we can't allow them to become an on-ramp to nicotine addiction.
Can't allow. There you go. You're going to see a lot of statist language here. Basically, guys, this right here is the mafia sitting around this table deciding how the rest of us are going to act, deciding what the rest of us can or can't put in our bodies, deciding whether we can. This isn't for gun control. This is for the vaping. But as another example, they can't have a bump stock. They can't have high capacity magazines. They can't have AR-15s. These are dangerous. They're killing people, and we've got to save people. This is the mafia sitting around determining how they're going to control your actions. That's what government is, mind control.
Combustible tobacco use for our kids. As the president said, we're here today to listen to you, individuals and organizations that represent many different aspects of this issue.
Okay, just real quick, diffraction. That Crow House video should be up. I don't know why it would be down. With Max Egan, that video, I never took it down. I'll have to look back. If it's down, I'll take a look at it and see if I can put it back up.
The question of how to regulate e-cigarettes is highly complex. So it's vital to gather an array of perspectives to understand the best way to go about protecting American youth. So thank you, Mr. President, for organizing this gathering today, and we all look forward to hearing from our guests.
I do too, and I want to. How about you starting? pretty interesting point of view early on. Where do you stand?
Well, I think that, we clearly in Kentucky have,
Kelly says, Kelly hashtag free Schaefer Cox. By the way, keep Schaefer Cox in your mind, guys. freeschaefercox.com. Go and support them. This guy has already been in jail for 8 years of a 26-year sentence, having done nothing wrong, zero. Kelly says, I've smoked for 26 years, could not quit a vape. Smoked for 26 years, could not quit, got a vape, set up 8 years ago, and never smoked again. My doc says my lungs look like I never smoked. See, that's awesome. That's a testimony to the power of using a vape to transition from harmful tobacco products to something way, way, way less dangerous.
I have a problem with teen smoking, but I think that having access to vaping products is not necessarily the answer. And it goes beyond just the flavors, in my opinion. We shouldn't have access for any vaping product, I think, until you're 21 years of age.
Who's this? My mother? Oh, is this my mother? I didn't know my mother was working in the halls of government. We don't need to allow. Are you serious? Is this a nation of children where we have these parents, these government parents who are going to tell us what we can or can't do? I don't buy it.
The more you introduce nicotine into a kid's brain, the more it has shown that they become addicted to other substances. So the longer that we can keep nicotine out of the hands of kids, I think it's in everyone's best interest.
Well, one of the things we'll be talking about will be age, because age is a big factor. And we're going to be coming up with...
If a 5-year-old wants to vape, if a 5-year-old wants to smoke and the parents let him, that's the parent's responsibility, and that kid is his own individual. It's not the government's job to keep kids safe. BC Cop Watch says they killed 3,000 innocent people to pass the Patriot Act. That's referring to 9/11, scaring you to take away your rights. The Patriot Act does not allow you to counsel or any of your constitutional rights because of 3,000 people. Yeah, these people who okayed the Patriot Act, these people who just recently reauthorized the Patriot Act while the stupid dog and pony show impeachment hearing was going on, these people care about your kids? Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. You know what testifies to that? 54 to 59,000 servicemen died in Vietnam alone. Not to mention the 1.5 million civilian casualties, deaths, as in casualties in Vietnam. Crazy, crazy numbers, man. They don't care. They won't bat an eye about killing 500,000 people in Iraq with those sanctions. Remember, Madeleine Albright said, well, it was a hard decision, but we think it was worth it. What was worth it, Madeleine? Killing 500,000 kids. But this same kind of government entity really cares about our kids. Come on. Come on. Take the smelling salts of reality. Take the blinders off your eyes.
A number, I think.
And get your head out of your ass.
We have to come up with a hard number at some point, so we'll be doing that. Let me know. So you had something very interesting to say before. Go a step further, please. Yeah.
Well, again, I also want to amplify what others have said. Mr. President, it is no secret that you have great instincts. And your first instinct on solving this problem of the youth vaping epidemic, and I think many people in this room believe is the right one. And that is ridding the market of all of these flavors, including menthol flavor and mint flavor, because it's the flavors that have hooked the kids and that kept the kids from perceiving harm in these products. And the president's...
I don't know if you heard what she said. You guys need to rid the market of all these flavors. Ban all these flavors.
Of nicotine. And so, I'm here, we've stayed up all night. We're a grassroots group representing families all across the country, and we went through the thousands of emails and letters.
I'm gonna read this from Truth Seeker. Trump, the Zio puppet. I can't disagree with that. I cannot disagree with that. Everything that he does, every action that he takes points in that direction.
And social media outreach that we've gotten.
It's at this point that I lose a lot of people who are watching, because a lot of people are really caught up in the cult of personality. If they're not in the cult of personality for Shifty Shift or Nazi Pelosi or Diane Frankenstein, they're in the tank for Donald J. Trump. Man, it's just, you would think this is a nation of little bitty kindergartners.
From families in, every state that I can think of, in Florida, in Ohio, Wisconsin, New York, Texas. These are real life stories. I'm happy to leave this for you, of families who have had their lives upended by the severe nicotine addiction that was caused by these flavored e-cigs. Kids are in pain, and we need you to help us.
Want to leave the menthol.
God, it sounds like Star Wars. Obi-Wan Kenobi, we need you. Donald Trump, we need you. You must fix this. Help us. This is horrible. We can't do this without you. You've got to help our kids.
They say get rid of flavors, but leave the menthol. I've heard that from a lot of people. No? Go ahead.
Well, what we've seen in the data is that if you leave the menthol, then they'll start using menthol.
Oh man, breaking news, 13 arrested for plot to shoot up school again. 13 arrested. Okay, we're gonna give me a thumbs up if you want me to cover that. Let's just finish this out.
And what we've seen so far is that even when some flavors are eliminated, that they'll still keep on going to anything that's flavored. So that is not a good solution.
What do you suggest?
I'm suggesting exactly as what you suggested, that you take all flavored e-cigarettes off the market, including mint and menthol.
Yeah, reach your hand, Donald Trump, into the free market. Guys, the market's not free. As long as we have the fiat currency Ponzi scheme from the Zionist Federal Reserve, we don't have a free market, but it's even less free when the government gets further involved. See, I realize that we have a fiat currency, okay? And it's a dishonest money system, but the last thing we need to do to fix this is to go 100% digital. Then you've got no anonymity. At least with the Federal Reserve note, you've got some anonymity. But this guy is begging Trump, these people are begging Trump to stick his filthy hands into the market and rearrange things and manipulate things and eliminate competition. That's what the government's good at. Is eliminating competition. The government is good at breaking your legs and then handing you taxpayer-funded crutches and say, see, if it weren't for the government, you wouldn't be able to walk. Yeah. It's just literal insanity, guys. And that's why I cover these things. Because the insanity is so deep, people can't even see
I
it.
think there's a problem because in the cigarette category, a third of the category is menthol.
Yeah, your legs, Mendoza.
There is no question this country needs to solve the problem of youth access to vaping. I think we can do that. I think your comment about going to V21 is a step there. But I think things like no direct access to vaping products, i.e.
You know what's so funny about this? They're talking about banning vaping flavors while cigarettes still saturate the market. While colas, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Mountain Dew still saturate the market. While McDonald's is still out there allowed to advertise their poisonous GMO food, and they're worried about vaping, water vapor going to the lungs of kids. There's so much hypocrisy in this, guys. So much hypocrisy.
Keeping them behind the counter. I think things like that are important. But menthol, if part of the reason why we have vaping is to try and help people that are smokers migrate to a lower risk product, a third of the smokers are menthol smokers. And by eliminating that, I think that cuts off that path. But we have to really be very serious about preventing sales of vape products to any minor. And
we have to be serious about preventing sales. There you go. That's government initiating force on people who don't want it.
To face the consequences.
CIA crack rock flavor. Who said that? That's hilarious. CR1000, whatever that number is. CR says CIA crack rock flavor. Yeah, the biggest drug dealers on the planet, the drug manipulators on the planet, the Central Intelligence Agency, and then these guys are going to sit here and try to ban vaping flavors?
If they do that, I mean, they should get their licenses pulled. And
so how many stores do you represent?
153,000, 2.5 million employees that conduct 160 million transactions.
Now, were you hiring stores 5 years ago because of what's going on with the internet? I mean, you're losing stores now to the internet, wouldn't you say? Would you say you're losing stores?
No, not convenience stores.
Not convenience.
No.
That's good.
Remember,
That's a positive sign.
or David Urban took him into a Wawa in Pennsylvania during the campaign. So those are my people, and probably more importantly, they're your people.
Okay, and they are, and they're great people. What are they saying about the vaping phenomena? What are they saying?
They're saying the same thing as they say about our sales of beer, wine, cigarettes. You know, we're in every community in the United States. We have reputational risk in those communities, and it is super important for our members to be socially responsible retailers. So the focus we have on doing that through training programs, through reprogramming.
Maiden of Darkness says, I feel like they're targeting vaping because those stores also carry life-saving CBD oil and life-saving kratom for getting off opioids. Going for vapes would shut it all down. Disgusting. If that's true, if going for vapes would like even put their foot in the door to shut this stuff down, yeah, it's truly insidious and disgusting and evil.
POS terminals to prohibit the sale of products to people that are underage. Super.
Beverly Thomas says he's saving the children from the pedophiles. What are you doing? There's no proof of that. There's no proof of that. I see Q saying, well, wait, there's going to be 45,000 sealed indictments. They're coming along the pike. Guys, it's all smoke screens. The pedophiles are in Congress. Do you not remember Dennis Hastert? Second in line to the President of the United States. He was the Speaker of the House for 8 years, Republican. He was sent to prison for only 16 or 17 months, but he was charged by a federal judge as being a serial child molester. Serial child molester. Second in line to the President of the United States. You don't think that goes above and below that level? Come on. This guy doesn't care about you. This guy's not going after child molesters. It may look like it, but he's not. He is as for the extinguishing of freedoms as Hillary Clinton would have been, because he's a puppet. Hillary Clinton was a puppet. Barack Obama's a puppet. You got all these puppets on the stage of the Democratic debates. Tulsi Gabbard, CFR member, Council on Foreign Relations, part of the Trilateral Commission, part of the Bilderberg, saying that she's going to put an end to the regime change wars. She's not going to do that. Sounds good, but she's not going to do it. Because wars make money. And as long as there are profits in war, there's going to be little incentive for peace. They want wars. Wars make them tons of money and helps them to move in and commandeer resources from foreign lands. That's what it's all about. So, how about civil asset forfeiture? How about Steve Mnuchin in the Treasury Department? How about facilitating more and more Fed intrusion into our life through the IRS? How about giving more money to the military-industrial complex than any president before him, which is going to cause way, way more deaths, including the deaths of children? And he's saving children? Come on. So much blood is on his hands, Obama's hands, former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton. It's so deep and so convoluted.
I mean, we need to have a very serious regulations about sales to underage people.
So then, representing all of those stores, great people, what is your solution? What is their solution and your solution?
So kind of 6 points. First, as I mentioned, prohibit direct access to the product, meaning put it behind the counter, only employees have access to it. Second is restricting sales to people 21 years older and older.
21.
Third is
21 years and older. I know what he meant, but it's just so funny to hear these people make mistakes, because everything that comes out of their mouth is control. When you hear regulation, when you hear policy, when you hear law, just insert the real word that they're using there, control. We get to control the people while we're telling them we're saving their kids, but they don't know it because they'd rather have their kids saved by government, which ain't gonna happen. And they want to give us their freedoms. This is so easy. It's like taking candy from a baby. It's like taking vape flavor from a baby. They love this stuff.
Restricting the number of items they can purchase per transaction. So you can't, one of the problems you have is that adult age people are buying multiple, more than they need, and then reselling it social sales to underage people. We need to restrict that by restricting the number of items they can buy in a transaction. I think we need to require either a training program for employees or require reprogramming of POS terminals. The FDA has...
I can't even believe he said reprogramming, which is hilarious because I just read Rika the Hopeful Voluntarist comment. It's their indoctrination programming, very difficult to overcome, but even an idiot like me could do it. That's why I'm hopeful. This is exactly what this is programming. 24/7 psychological operations from mainstream fake stream media and the Donald Trump that fake stream media says they hate, but they really love it because Donald Trump really increases their ratings. Donald Trump has been very, very good for CNN, very good for MSLSD. They make tons of money, tons of clicks. Going back and forth, this dog and pony show, this WWE production, this stage show production that ensures that you will have less rights at the end of the day and less money because they're going to steal your wealth and take away your freedoms.
The authority to do that under the Tobacco Control Act and has never approved a training program. If they did, they could fine and restrict and pull licenses for people who don't train.
And what about flavors?
Our most important thing is a level playing field that all retailers abide by the same laws,
Level playing field. Well, that's not what you get when you get government. You get a manipulated playing field. You get the elimination of competition. You have the increase. It's like when they want to get involved in, we're going to decrease pharmaceutical prices. Well, actually, they decrease the potency and increase the prices. That's what happens. When government gets involved, quality goes down, prices go up. That's how it happens. That's the formula.
So are you saying
we think flavors are probably good for adult smokers? They're horrible for anyone else. But if there's a level playing field, if you decide that this is what you're going to do.
So what would you do with flavors?
If we would abide by the law, if the law decided to ban flavors, we would abide by that law.
If the law decided to ban flavors, what is this law, a personification? Is it some person or something? The law, guys, the law in regard to man-made law, is nothing more or less than the opinion of some psychopathic parasitic politician backed by the threat of force. If you don't do what I say, Joe Public, you're going to jail. I'm going to throw your ass in jail.
Mr. President.
And if you resist, my enforcers will come out, wave a gun in your face, and make you submit. If you don't submit, you're dead.
Your instincts on September 11th were correct, but facts and the situations change. On September 11th, you were under the impression CDC was
Keys for Truth says if you're voting, you're sleeping.
saying was that vaping in general was killing people. But now we know from the CDC that their main focus of their investigation, it's not store-bought nicotine products. It's not the companies that Tony Booth represents. It was illicit THC oil cartridges sold by drug dealers. And so right now, it's important that you know, Michael Bloomberg, who is no friend to your presidency, he is funding $160 million to try to ban these flavors. And many people in this room are the recipients of those monies. So they are not here with the position of we can come to a compromise. They have money specifically to get these products banned. And
that was a little ray of light in this little meeting. Did you hear what that guy just said? A whole bunch of people sitting at this table got Michael Bloomberg's money in their pockets, and he's no friend of you, Trump, and he's no friend of vaping. So they have kind of an ulterior motive, don't they?
10,000 plus small businesses, they can't survive with just tobacco and menthol. They age restrict, they only allow adults in their store.
So what would you do?
I think we need to raise the age to 21. We need bulk sales purchase limits. We need marketing restrictions. And also, most importantly, there is a
Thanks for the super chat, Yo Joe. He says, Brian, I wish you would do a video analysis on the coming gun control in Virginia. It's straight up confiscation. All right, man. I will look into that. Okay. Thanks. I appreciate the heads up on that.
2020, every single vaping product on the market has to go through what's known as a pre-market review.
That's going to cost several $million per product. So even if we solve this crisis today, which I hope we do, in 5-6 months, we're back where we started, with potentially only the largest multi-billion-dollar companies being able to survive.
Because people can't afford it.
Exactly, and all these small businesses, they're the ones that are employing people, 70,000, 80,000 direct jobs, 70,000 indirect jobs.
So what are you recommending on flavors?
On flavors, we think we need at least a wide open market in some places. So we would prefer only tobacco 21, bulk sales limits, many things advocated by NACS, but at the worst, products that haven't undergone FDA review should be able to continue to be sold in adult-only stores. But that's not the best. We want smokers to be able to access these products everywhere they can purchase a pack of Marlboros. And Senator Rand Paul, who is a doctor, just 2 weeks ago in the Senate, he said these products have likely saved hundreds of thousands of lives, and we can't forget about the adult smokers in this debate. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, let me make this point. You heard what the guy said, that Rand Paul said, that it could have saved hundreds of thousands of lives. What if it didn't? What if it actually killed more lives than tobacco products? Is it okay to get government involved then? No, because anytime you add government into anything, like I said, quality goes down, prices go up, and body counts increase. When you get government involved, more people become enslaved to the system. There's massive prison incarceration because you got the prison industrial complex. People are going to jail. The people who are invested in these jails are making a whole boatload of money because the policies are actually working for these people. You will have more people die, more people lose their freedom, more people lose their property, more people lose their lives if you get government into the mix. If you keep it out and let the free market run its course and just volunteer, under voluntary means, by consent of adults, you can put whatever you want to in your own body. Here's the deal though, it's dangerous, so you're taking a huge risk with your life. Be careful, but it's your life. You can do whatever you want to with it. What happened to pursuit of life, liberty, and property? It's not existent at this table right here.
Mr. President, thank you.
And for people who want to get on to me for being against Trump, I'm against anybody. I'm an equal opportunity discriminator. If it goes against truth, I'm against it. If the person goes against truth and freedom, individual liberties, rights, if it's for taking your money, your resources, I'm against it. I don't care what face it has. I don't care if it has a Trump face or a Hillary Clinton face or a Barack Obama face or a John Moran McCain face. It doesn't matter what shape it takes. If it's against your freedom, it's against your freedom. Just be truthful about it.
It's already illegal to sell these products to people under 18, and yet we have seen the largest increase.
Yeah, nobody for
in
2020
products in the last 4 years, literally in the history of our nation. And at the same time, with the availability of the flavors, we have seen no increase whatsoever in the percentage of adults who use these products. The flavors have fueled youth use of these products. And what's particularly concerning is it led to a level of addiction that we have never seen even with cigarettes, because these products deliver more nicotine more powerfully. So what we're seeing, and others here can talk to you about it in more detail, kids becoming addicted quicker, unable to quit, suffering extraordinary withdrawal symptoms.
So what would you do, Matthew?
I think the answer is, having worked in this issue for 35 years, I would in fact eliminate the sale of any flavors that haven't been approved by the Food and Drug Administration. We're talking about a temporary step.
Yeah, it's got to be approved by the FDA. You know, the FDA that has overseen the approval of many pharmaceuticals that got people hooked on opioids and just flat out killed people. That's another thing. The people will trust the Food and Drug Administration to keep them safe. And constantly, time and time again, the FDA approves drugs that are literally killing people. Like they'll take some kind of a heart disease pharmaceutical, and it gives them higher blood pressure than they had before, or they get some other side effect ailment. It puts them in the hospital. People die from this kind of stuff. They approve all sorts of things the FDA does all the time that ends up killing people. So now people have this false sense of security because they're believing the government's going to keep them safe when nothing could be further from the truth. This is mockable, truly mockable.
In order to prevent the continued dramatic rise up there, FDA has the authority then to review these products, and if any of them comply, and people can demonstrate that they actually help people quit and that they don't unduly appeal to kids, then they could be marketed. What we've seen now, though, is just the opposite. We have seen an epidemic among our kids.
Yeah, I caught that too, Independent. He says 35 years, the first e-cig was invented in 2011. WTF. I think he just means he's been researching the health effects of, I'm assuming, okay? Because I don't think would he be that stupid to say he's been studying the e-cigarette phenomenon for 35 years? I don't think so, but who knows? These guys are psychopathic and psychotic.
I haven't seen in ever before. We now have more kids using nicotine products than at any time in the last 20 years. And what's more disturbing about it is that 34% of the kids who use these products use them more than 20 days a month, which means they're hooked. They can't quit. We have stories of young people who say, I started it because it was cool. And literally within days, I lost control. Kids sleep with these products because they need to wake up in the middle of the night. This is something we can do something.
Guys, if that's true, yeah, that's bad. It's hard, you know, if stuff is really harming children, that's bad. But you know what's exponentially worse than that? Getting government on board to save the kids who are harming themselves with vaping. That's even, I can't even say 10 times worse. It's exponentially worse.
About
Save vaping, ban children, Micah Fox Music says.
FDA has the authority to review these products. The question is, what should we do in the interim with it? And because we have seen no increase in what would you do? I would eliminate the flavors, all of them, except for.
Yeah, but let's add to that. I would eliminate the flavors. Okay, how would you do that? Well, by the barrel of a government gun. Okay, so you would inflict violence on people, and you would threaten harm to people to keep kids from harming themselves. Oh, okay, gotcha. Let's wipe away the frickin' euphemisms and just get honest with this.
Tobacco flavored. What about menthol? Well, what we've seen is 2 years ago, Juul said they were going to make mango less accessible. Kids moved immediately to mint. Now, if we eliminate mint, what many people don't realize is, do you know what the number one ingredient in mint is? It's menthol. We already have some companies that have multiple versions of menthol, and many of them taste a lot like mint. And so, unless FDA actually constrains something very narrowly, it's one of those big Pandora's box that we can't get out of.
Yeah. Now, you're the head of Juul.
Yes, sir.
So what do you say?
All right, here's the head of Juul. Let's see what he has to say, because these people are sitting at this table and all of them have a profit motive. Every one of them, for every one of them, profit talks, money talks. Follow the money. Who benefits? Let's hear what this guy says.
I came into the job, we decided that action needed to be taken. We agreed this was a serious issue. So we have already removed our flavors from the market. Most recently, we removed mint. And for us, that was 70% of our business. So it was a big step for us, but felt it was the right thing to do with this youth.
Okay, now that doesn't sound right. Juul, the vape company, says they removed a menthol, which was 70% of their business. So they lost 70% of the business by making this move, which wasn't a regulated move yet.
That came out and to deal with this issue. Today, we're left with a tobacco and menthol portfolio. But ultimately, we were going to defer to the FDA.
And that's regardless of age. It's just removed.
We took it out. We took out all of our flavor SKUs, including that. We sell menthol and tobacco SKUs, but we will defer to the FDA.
Who makes the flavors then? I mean, you're the biggest of the group.
Juul is owned by Philip Morris Big Tobacco. Did not know that. That's what Cutthroat says. The ones that want you to come back to cigarettes. Is that true? Is that true, Cutthroat? Can you substantiate that? Juul is owned by Philip Morris? Did not know that. That's very interesting. So basically, you don't have Juul sitting at this table. You have Philip Morris sitting at this table, if that's true, okay? I don't know if it is or not. We have to substantiate that. But if this is Philip Morris sitting at the table saying we've gotten rid of everything except tobacco flavor and some menthol in our portfolio, and everybody else should follow suit, then it would drive people to cigarettes, it seems.
Who makes the flavors? Different companies?
Different companies.
And they continue to make flavors?
Yes.
And Mr. President, we are the second largest vapor company in the country. For every 3 Juul products that are sold, 1 Enjoy is sold.
Right.
We have 1.2% youth use versus 60% youth use for Juul. It's not necessarily a flavor problem.
So what do you?
There are 2 unassailable facts. The youth problem is a huge problem, and flavors definitively contribute to it. But on the other hand, the other problem, which is macro to this situation, is that if you ban flavors, which there is some public health redeeming virtue to doing so, 100,000 Americans are going to lose their jobs. It's not disputed by anybody in public health. Their community and the vape shop community.
Actually, the number's higher, Mr. President. The number's
They will lose their jobs, sir. They sell, I'd like to finish. They sell exclusively flavors. So the question.
Okay, a lot of you guys are saying Juul is owned by Philip Morris. That's a very interesting dynamic. Okay. Juul, Atria, or is it Altria, and Marlboro all share a connection, I believe, if I remember correctly. Okay, so you guys are saying it is owned by Philip Morris. That's what I like. None of us is greater than all of us, guys. You guys taught me something. Did not know Juul was owned by Philip Morris. That's an interesting dynamic. So now Philip Morris has a vested interest in using Juul, their front company, to eliminate flavors and almost ask Congress through lobbying to set regulations and policies into place that will make everybody else quit the flavors, because that's what kids are really drawn toward, is the good taste. That's interesting.
The question really is, I don't think we need to argue the virtue of youth not using these products. We all agree that they shouldn't. Enjoy, Reynolds American, who represent number 2 and 3 in the country, in the absence of Juul, represent the balance of the convenience store channel electronic cigarette market, had 1.2 and 2.4% youth use respectively.
Where is Reynolds?
We believe that you can market flavors responsibly, Mr. President. 90% of our used consumers are above the age of 25.
You guys still doing flavors?
Yes, we
So
are.
Juul's not doing it, they are both doing it. That's interesting, right?
And sir, I think that the issue or the opportunity here is to make a deal for the industry to come here and say, we
That's why I
recognize.
have you here. I mean,
We
I'd like to
recognize
see
that
we
you
could do
do
something for
problem.
everybody, where everybody's happy. The one thing I see though, you watch Prohibition, you look at, with the alcohol, you look at cigarettes, you look at all, if you don't give it to them, it's gonna come here illegally, okay? They're gonna make it. But instead of Reynolds or Juul or, legitimate companies, good companies making something that's safe, they're gonna be selling stuff on a street corner that could be horrible. That's the one problem
Bingo. That's a good point. Gotta admit, that's a good point. In other words, if the government gets involved and enforces prohibition by the barrel of a government gun, the free market's going to kick in anyway. I don't know if you've seen it, but you can't have access to alcohol in prison. And yet, guess what they do? They make alcohol. You don't have access to tattoo shops and tattoo parlors in prison. But guess what they do? They got a workaround. There's this little seed of the free market spirit in everybody. And it doesn't care how oppressive their surroundings are. It doesn't care how tyrannical their surroundings are. Somehow, some way, they create a way to make a tattoo gun and give tattoos. They get drugs in there. They make weapons in there. And these people are talking about prohibition out on the streets when they can't even control it in their own federal max prisons. It's laughable, guys. So worthy of ridicule. So I agree with Trump on this. Hey, if you do prohibition, haven't we learned anything from alcohol prohibition? If they want the alcohol, it's going to come in anyway. If they want the drugs, it's going to come in anyway via the CIA and the DEA. Because we've commandeered Afghanistan's poppy fields and we basically control 90% of the opium trade on the planet, CIA, by the use of the military-industrial complex. Holy crap.
seem to forget. I mean, I've
Okay,
seen.
before we go on with Trump here, I got 2 super chats I want to deal with. Frank says, I wish they had a roundtable discussion about all those poisonous neurotoxins injected into our babies. Yeah. What about the vaccines? And what about the crap they're spraying in the air? And what about the food they allow, these GMOs, this GMO bill that Trump signed and allowed to pass? What about all the Franken food they're feeding us? Give me a break. They care about your health. Man, it almost looks like they're trying to, go toward that targeted 500 million from the Georgia Guidestones. Call me crazy. Maybe not. I don't know. Snapzilla Gorilla says, hey, Brian, keep up the good work. Are you sticking around on YouTube? Yeah, I've always said I'm staying around till the wheels fall off. And just as a reminder, guys, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button here, like and share this video with everybody you know. And on December 10th, YouTube is going to pull out all the stops. There's going to be a lot of channels disappeared if they're not considered commercially viable. And I'm sure my channel will be one. So please make sure you visit the description and connect with me on all my social media sites, especially my highimpactflix.com site where we can stay together on my weekly newsletter. All right, let's get back to Trump. He actually just said something that was right. Let's consider prohibition, the failure of prohibition, and yet he'll continue the drug prohibition. It's just so there's so much hypocrisy, guys. It's even when these guys say the truth, it's basically tinted with a lie and hypocrisy. Okay, so people are talking about. Yeah, Patricia says, do it till the damn wheels fall off, damn it. People keep talking about this shooting that happened. 13 people apprehended. We got to go to that.
You just have to look. You have to look at the history of it. And now, instead of having a flavor that's at least safe, they're going to be having a flavor that's poison. That's a big problem.
Especially thousands of companies, Mr. President. And
Okay, I'm just going to give props to Trump. I mean, that's true. It's just true. You get the government involved in banning all these quote unquote legitimate corporations. Even Philip Morris, they want to put out a good product. They don't want people. I was going to say they don't want people dropping dead. For the last 5 or 6 decades, they've been creating a product that makes people drop dead. Just forget it. Anyway, that's right. Prohibition is going to create submarkets, and those submarkets can be even more dangerous because now they're operating out of the bounds of the quote law, and it's illegal. And, then you got stuff like bathtub gin killing people and all that kind of stuff. So, like I said, you're the master of your own ship. You're the captain of your own vessel. And there are dangerous people doing nefarious things just to make a buck. And they don't care who it kills in the process as long as they make a profit. And it's up to you to be discerning. It can be a very dangerous and treacherous road with many, many pitfalls. But the answer is certainly not to get government involved.
Very large e-cigarette companies at this table, but most of the members of our trade association are small mom and pop shops. They're small manufacturers. They're small businesses that have built this industry from the ground up, not from the top down.
So what do you say?
And we say you have to implement, as you said, this is a complex problem, so you need a sophisticated plan. A flavor ban will not work, and you've articulated one critical reason why it will not work. People will just go to the black market, and that's because adults are demanding these flavors.
Doesn't that happen?
This is the first product.
Okay, you just ended your flavors, right?
Except for tobacco.
Isn't that going to be, isn't that going to be just sold, illegally? Somebody's going to open up a shop in China and ship it in with flavors and you don't know what standard you're getting? Isn't that a problem?
You already see that in New York City. If you go to a bodega to buy Jewel Pods, you can buy 15 different versions of Jewel Mango, which have been off the market
And
since
that's where the
September.
facts are coming in. It's really not from your product, it's from product that's made illicitly, right?
Copycats from China.
We have China counterfeit products on the market today. What we're very focused on is enforcement to get these products off the market. But yes, Mr. President.
What did you call it, China counter?
Did you hear what Jewel just said, the Jewel representative? We're focused on getting these products off the market. They already got their products off the market, so they're focused on what? Using government to get other people to get their products off the market? Got a little corporate/government involvement going on here, do we?
Excuse
What
me,
is it called?
counterfeit products that we're not producing that are on the market today. It's an issue.
And how
something
bad
we're
are
very
they? How
focused
bad
on.
are they? Bad.
Why, okay, so advocate for free speech says, why are you defending vaping? I'm not defending vaping. I think it's stupid to breathe anything other than oxygen into your lungs. I wouldn't do it. But I'm defending freedom. You have the freedom to vape. and it could be very dangerous. You have the freedom to smoke. You have the freedom to shoot up. You have the freedom to strangle yourself with a bed sheet in a maximum security cell and not accomplish it. You have the freedom to use a razor blade and slash well, I better not say that because the algos would pick me up and say that I'm endorsing violence. You have the freedom to do whatever you want to. I'm not defending vaping. I'm defending the freedom to do whatever you want to do and put whatever you want to in your body. That's what I'm defending.
Product, right? In some cases.
The issue is you just don't know.
Mr. President, we have 5.3 million kids who are addicted. And separate from the lung disease, 5.3 million kids, 1 million kids a day are using these products repetitively with addiction. Since the flavors have been introduced, we have seen a meteoric rise in use by kids. We have seen no increase whatsoever. Before flavors were marketed so...
Let me just stop right there. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how horrible the landscape looks. It doesn't matter how many people are dying. It doesn't matter how many kids' health are in jeopardy. The last thing you want to do is put psychopaths in control of the rest of us and have them monopolize and control our every single frickin' move. That is far more dangerous than 1.5 million kids. Let's say 2.5 million kids died every year with vaping. That's still not an excuse to infringe on the freedoms of the rest of us. It's just like the gun issue. Somebody could walk into a school or a post office or a bank and just blow everybody's heads away, and the government goes, whoa, we need to take all AR-15s away. Well, okay, why are you going to penalize me? I haven't hurt anybody. I haven't killed anybody. How is that legitimate? How is that moral? It's not. And that's what we got to stay away from, is this immoral knee-jerk reaction of, oh my God, a lot of people are dying. We need to initiate force and violence on everybody else. Utterly detestable, guys. As much as I hate cigarettes because I watched them destroy my dad, you could do whatever you want to with your own body. I would never ask the government to ban cigarettes on my behalf, or alcohol. You know how many alcohol-related accidents happen every year? You know how many people die because of alcohol every year? How about pharmaceutical drug overdoses? I think the last number I saw from 2016, 2017 was 71,000 people die every year from FDA-approved pharmaceuticals. That's far more than are dying with this vaping stuff. What, like half a dozen died with the vaping thing? It's just smokescreen BS to control the population.
Heavily, candidly, by Juul. The number one flavor of e-cigarette on the market was tobacco flavor. We're not talking about removing all e-cigarettes. What we're talking about doing is removing the flavors that have fueled the epidemic among us.
Wolfman Caveman News says the government should ban government. That would probably, no, it actually wouldn't, it still would not be a legitimate action because government in and of itself is illegitimate. So it'd be illegitimate for an illegitimate entity to try and ban the illegitimate entity. It's crazy.
I understand what you're saying, Matthew. I'm saying this, if we take out flavors, won't they just be made illegally, the same flavor?
Yes, they will. Trump's right. Trump's right.
That, I think, is what you'll see is last year we saw 1.5 million more kids become addicted. We can close that on-ramp. You said it correctly in September. Former Commissioner Gottlieb has said the same thing. We can close the on-ramp. As long as flavors are legally available, we'll see
The
it.
on-ramp from adult smokers to vapor. People need flavors in order to do it.
Most adults are not using flavors.
Yes, they are. People are using flavors today.
How can Romney say that? Most adults have taste buds too. Wouldn't you rather vape bubblegum flavor than tobacco flavor? God, you get tobacco flavor every time you walk by somebody on the street that's smoking a cigarette. That flavor just seeps into your mouth. Bubblegum would be, I mean, have you ever passed somebody that vapes? It smells really good, like that cotton candy, the purple cotton candy or whatever, and that bubble gum just smells so good. I wouldn't vape it, but gosh, it's just from an adult perspective, I'd rather smoke that or vape that than a tobacco flavor. Romney's just so out to lunch. Snapzilla Gorilla says, grab some shirts and support Brian. He puts a lot of hard work for his videos. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. A true freedom lover he is. Man, thanks a lot. Guys, visit Snapzilla Gorilla's channel. He's got some really good commentary as well. All right, let's get back to this. Romney's just so out to lunch.
You're going to ask people that are using flavors today to go back to using the flavor of the product that almost killed us.
Senator Romney, the second largest e-cigarette company in the country, 92% of my revenue is flavors, and I had 1.2%
His is the largest company, and none of this is our flavors.
We're different companies. We are
I understand. His is the
we are
largest.
not dual serve.
His is the largest.
Over 9,000 people.
70% of youth, according to the National Youth Tobacco Survey, get their vapor products from social sources, friends, family, or other people that are 18 years or older. Only 8.4% get it from
10,000
convenience stores.
stores selling these things. 10,000 stores. The kids are overwhelmingly being able to get these by virtue of 10,000 stores
Only
selling
8.4%
flavors.
Not the vape shops. The vape shops are typically adult-only shops, Mr. President.
It turns out the most recent.
So it's very important for you to realize this. Separate and apart from the convenience stores and the gas stations where kids typically frequent, there is a whole separate distribution chain that has grown up, which is a vape shop.
Yeah, actually, that's another good point. Who made that point about abortions? Let's see. Somebody said something about abortions. Shoot, I lost it. Anyway, it's guys, do you realize in the world how many children are not just killed, but summarily slaughtered in the womb every single day? Last I saw was 125. Let's just look it up. Let's just Google it real quick. How many abortions? I think it's 125,000 a day, daily. How many abortions are performed daily? That's just the U.S. No, it can't be 125,000 abortions a day just in the U.S. I think that's a worldwide number right there. But check this out. According to the World Health Organization, every year in the world, there are an estimated 40 to 50 million abortions. That's 40 to 50 million defenseless, helpless human beings slaughtered in the womb. And the government cares about kids. That I wish I could find who put that in there, guys. That is absolutely the absolute best point you can make about the hypocrisy of everybody sitting around this stupid table right here. Everybody sitting around this table, including Trump, are absolute hypocrites when 125,000 abortions are performed every day worldwide. 125,000 human beings are slaughtered, sucked out, pulverized, torn apart. Oh, but we care about your kids' lungs. We care about your kids' lungs. We don't want your little kids' lungs to be harmed through vaping. Bull crap. Bull crap. The most fragile human life, the most defenseless human life on the planet. It should be the safest place in the world to be in your mother's womb. But 125,000 children die every single day, and the government just lets it happen. Matter of fact, they make laws to ensure that it happens. Sometimes I get beside myself when I just really let the gravity of the hypocrisy and the indecency of government just seep into my brain. It's absurd. And you know what? Somebody just said ban pornography. You know what? I don't want pornography banned. I don't even want child porn banned. You know why? Because you need to let evil be exposed to the light. Sunlight is the greatest disinfectant. That's why I hate every form of censorship. That's why I will never ban anybody off of my channel. I will never strike anybody off of my channel. I don't care how stupid they're being. Now, I've been in Discord before where just somebody's sitting on the mic being stupid just for the sake of civility. I mean, you're never going to have a conversation if you don't just mute somebody. But other than that, I say let evil run. Because if you suppress it, if you push it down, it just metastasizes faster than it would have if you let it be seen. You can't deal with something that's just covertly operating under the covers. You want to bring it to the surface so you can decimate it. Decimate it with truth and logic. And then teach your kids to just utterly reject it. And then you bring up a whole new generation of people who cannot stand that garbage and will grow up to be adults who protect kids and wail on and eliminate the child pornographers. That's why I'm against even that censorship of that kind of garbage. Let Maria Abramovich do whatever she does with her blood spirit cooking rituals. Let them do it out in the open. If she did it in secret, we'd never know she existed. We'd never know she had a link with the Podestas or with Hillary Clinton Or with that pizza place in Washington, D.C. that shall remain nameless, with the guy who is the 49th most popular person in Washington, D.C. How does that work? So don't ban that stuff. Don't censor anything. Keep it out in the open. Banning things is for losers, man. Brian banned me just now. He said I'm too stupid for this channel, says US NBA. That's not true.
That is supplied by a distributor, that is supplied by a manufacturer. And this is the new vapor
And that
industry,
is the
not the
number
old
one outlet
tobacco
where
industry.
young people
And when you
purchase.
that is not accurate.
Mr. President.
So
The
that is not.
CDC issued a report just last week that said, yes, kids get their vapes from social sources, that's to be
86%.
expected. The number one, 16.5% of 9 to 17-year-olds get their vapes from a vape shop. It is the number one retail source.
Much
And
more
in the
than
same,
convenience stores.
in the same study, it also said that these kids are refused only 25% of the time. If a vape shop is willing to sell a 9-year-old
And that suggests that we should change the rules if somebody illegally sells a product. It shouldn't suggest that we should limit adult access.
We need to punish people who are selling these.
The convenience.
Did you hear what the guy said? We need to punish people for selling these things. I mean, I love it when they just come out and say it, you know? Don't just say ban, don't say prohibition, don't say setting policy, don't say creating laws. Say what you actually mean. Oh yeah, not most powerful, the most powerful in Washington D.C. Thanks, URC Childs. That pizza joint owner was voted the 49th most powerful person in Washington D.C. and he's a pizza place owner. But did you hear what he said? These people need to be punished. Oh, okay. All right. Let's take it one step further. How are we going to punish them? Well, it ends up being that the barrel of a government gun is pointed into somebody's face who transgressed the law or edict or opinion of a politician. Yeah, let's keep it out in the open. Sidestep euphemisms. Tell it like it really is. You want people punished because they don't do what you say you want them to do.
History has as lady here just said, has a much better compliance record than adult-only stores. We sell a lot of age-restricted products, make from, as I said earlier, beer, lottery tickets, and vape products, cigarettes. It is vitally important to our members to do age-restricted product sales properly, and that's one of the reasons why our compliance rates are much better than just adult.
And with flavor or without flavor?
With anything, if it's age restricted, we take it very, very seriously. I think this whole debate over flavors is that, half of the audience here firmly believes, I think there's some strong evidence that flavors help adult cigarette smokers to reduce their risk. There are also a huge concern about youth being attracted to vapor.
You guys are cracking me up in the chat. Ban Adam Schiff. And then somebody said something about Ruth Bader Ginsburg baby adrenochrome flavor. I think CR1000 said that. Eagle Eye says, good stream. Your chat is different from what I see. Oh, this chat right here is a chat on the live stream we're watching. We're actually watching live stream, and I'm pausing the live stream. Yeah, that's not my chat. This right here is not my chat. If that's what you're talking about. There's one more. Don McDouglas says Joe Rogan died rip with crack up face. Funny. Yeah, somebody really got me in that the other day. See, I don't know. I hate being deceived. Here we go.
Because of the flavors, we have to double down.
Okay, we got to have the Adam Schiff gavel down flavor. I love you guys, man.
Do really well.
Thanks, 503 dude. I appreciate you.
Okay, I got it. Why did Juul end flavors? You're the biggest.
Oh, okay. So if Juul is Philip Morris, which is Altria or whatever, why did Juul end flavors is Trump's question here. Okay, interesting.
Came out and we saw the youth usage. It was a serious problem. We felt we need to act quickly and to remove the flavors in our business.
So you think flavors are dangerous?
Well,
essentially.
when we saw the youth data, we felt the responsible thing to do as the leader in the industry was to remove the flavors, given that youth were getting access to flavors.
And yet
That is utter BS, guys. Do you know what? Okay, so if this is Philip Morris talking about this, basically they said they removed flavors because they saw the data coming out, and Trump is pressing them on it and saying, oh, so you're saying flavors are dangerous. And then he kind of hem-hawed around. But basically what they're saying is, what Philip Morris or Juul is saying is that they were putting out a dangerous product, so they took it off the market. Hey, stop buying Juul. Stop buying Juul. How do we know that their tobacco and menthol flavors, which is all that's left in their portfolio, is not dangerous? Hey, buy their competitors' market. Put them out of business. I do not trust Philip Morris. Okay, so Altria Group, formerly Philip Morris Companies, acquired a 35% stake in Juul Labs, says 619 Tube Me. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you guys putting this stuff up here because I don't have access to my two screens where I'm at right now, and so I can't double check this. So I really appreciate you guys being my eyes for me. Big Tobacco is making less money, and so is Big Pharma. It's almost like they feed each other because look, Big Tobacco is putting out products that are killing people, and then Big Pharma takes the people who are dying and then injects them with more stuff to kill them. Like, you know, have you ever encountered somebody who was perfectly fine, then they went in for a checkup and they said, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, you only have 6 months to live. We got to put you on a round of chemo. They were fine until they went on the chemo, and literally their life is utterly upended by the chemo that they took from Big Pharma, which makes me wonder, I think you would fare better if you just disregard what the doctor said and lived your life the way you were up to the time that you got that diagnosis. But Philip Morris, okay, I'm not trusting anything here. Something is amiss here because when you're in business to make money, and you don't get rid of 70% of what was making you money because you care about people. And you definitely don't take a product off the shelf if you didn't think it was dangerous. Something is amiss. Something is amiss. What am I missing here? You guys put it in the chat because maybe my brain is short-circuiting. That doesn't make sense to me.
Do you think we should have flavors?
Yes, sir, I do. I think that we've demonstrated through our business model, which is unique to Juul, that we can build an adult audience of smokers without creating former smokers, without creating a new audience of youth users. And it's been demonstrated through the data. Over the last 12 months, Enjoy has been the second largest electronic cigarette company in the country.
Okay, Enjoy. This is the representative for Enjoy. So Enjoy is a competitor of Juul. He could have totally capitalized on this. Well, actually, he is somewhat capitalizing on this because he's like, yeah, I'm for flavors. We're not taking our flavors off the market. Nothing wrong with our flavors.
Country, the FDA has conducted 146,000 inspections of retail establishments. We've had 29 violations. By way of comparison, Juul's had 60 times more violations than us. 60 times. They sell 3 times more products than us and has had 60 times more violations. Why is that? That's because of the way that we...
Wow, that's interesting. That's interesting. They sell 3 times more product, but have 65% more violations. Interesting.
We have implemented self-policed policies that limit youth access. There's nobody can intellectually honestly tell you that you can permanently eliminate youth access.
Okay, Cutthroat 420 is surmising that Juul wasn't trying to make money. The entire reason for Juul existing is to create this crisis. That would be interesting. Interesting. Fake stats, says Rika.
What we're focused on doing, Mr. President, is getting this back to a science-based argument. We're going to fully support the FDA in this process. Flavors have demonstrated playing an important role for an adult to make an important choice, which is to put down using a cigarette if they can't quit and switch to a product that has less risk, an e-vapor. We think the science argument is very important. That's what we're focused on. We think the FDA is most appropriate to determine what's appropriate for public health.
So do you think you have it right now? You're okay? You've gotten rid of the flavor?
I think we made the right decision, and we're looking forward to filing our PMTA with the FDA.
Juul removed mango in September of 2018 and youth use rose. It was the #1 most popular product on the market. Flavors are an issue. They are attractive to youth.
Kids.
How about
This is hilarious. Enjoy knows more Juul statistic than the representative for Juul does. I love this kind of stuff, man, because you can sit here and you can pause it and you can really kind of think about it and mull it around in your mind and go, man, that doesn't make sense. What are they talking about? I know they want money, so what's the catch here?
The children.
Yes, sir.
We've got almost 6 million kids addicted.
Yeah, Derek DeBuck says you interrupt the content way too much. We get your message. No need to go off on a tangent every 10 seconds. Yeah, I know, but if I don't interrupt, my channel gets very seriously valved down. And there's already been one channel today. Quentin Booker got his channel highly shadow banned and demonetized for just playing long snippets of other people's content. So there are alternative reasons why I do that, but I understand. I know how it can probably tick people off, but here we go.
Addicted to nicotine, and they're getting addicted to nicotine because of flavors. 66% of the kids addicted to these products are saying they didn't even know it had nicotine in it. They thought it was just a candy type product. It's the flavor that's drawing the kids in. It's a health emergency. I salute the fact that Jewel has said we're taking these products off the market because we care about our kids. The kids and the adults.
Okay, wait. I gotta pause here, guys. Because what Romney's saying is Romney's saying that Jewel was saying we took our products off the market because we care about kids, which tells me that Jewel knows or knew that their product was inferior to the other products. They're basically admitting by taking their products off the shelf that their product was not safe for kids. And if it's not safe for kids, people need to stop using Philip Morris. Oh, excuse me, Jewel. I had to stop on that one, guys. That's pretty notable what he just said there.
Adults have access. The adults have access to menthol products through Jewel. They have a tobacco flavored products. So that's what putting out cotton candy flavor and what is it? Unicorn poop flavor. I mean, look, this is kid product. We have to put the kids first.
No, you're putting the government first, Romney.
Marketing is not going to
Moron.
And that's why in our plan 21 and done, Mr. President, not only have we called for increasing the age to 21, that's a no-brainer. That has to be done. It has to be done because that keeps it away from the 18-year-olds.
We're going to be doing 21, we're going to be doing.
But on top of that, we've laid out 21 different marketing restrictions, banning advertising on television, banning advertising, banning advertising of the kind that Senator Romney is complaining about. Everybody's criticized the industry for their marketing, but nobody is talking about actually putting in marketing restrictions.
What do you think of the Senate bill?
Well, I think it's the wrong approach, frankly, and I think the better approach would be to raise the age to 21, put severe restrictions on how you market.
Okay, so this is the Enjoy guy. He's still throwing on restrictions. What's this 21 thing? Give me a break, man. Give me a break. Yeah, our kids can go off and die in foreign wars at 18, but you're not going to let them vape until they're 21? P.S. Just get out of here.
The product, then on top of that, you have to increase penalties for retailers because our retailers are fine with increasing penalties because they do know that they are age gating and keeping these products out of the hands of kids. So we say 3 strikes and you're out. Today, the FDA can allow you to have 7 strikes before you're actually told to stop selling tobacco products. That's unacceptable. And that's perfectly okay from our perspective. On top of that, age verification. We are in the age of technology, and that is what this is. This is a technology product that is helping people quit smoking. And unfortunately, for some people, in some cases it is. And it's really important, and that's why people are so devoted to this particular product. But third-party age verification is important.
Yes, please. I'm a pediatrician, and I take care of children every day. I saw children yesterday, and this is a crisis. We have over 5 million children addicted to e-cigarettes, and these parents and these children are counting our help. I had a teenage boy in my office crying, telling me I was just dumb. I was dumb. I don't know how to get off of this. I cannot get off of it. It is a crisis. Children tell us they sleep with their jewels under their pillows so that when they wake up in the middle of the night, they can take a vape. These children, nicotine is so addictive, we really have nothing in our arsenal to help them except for behavioral. I'm suggesting, and the nation's doctors are here, and we're all of the same message, is that we need to take all flavors off the market pending FDA investigation of that. And we're worried that if we leave one flavor on the market, even menthol, that the children will go to that because they're going to want something to help. They're going to want something. And that's why action is so desperately
How do you
needed
solve
here.
the counterfeit problem if you do that? Okay, so they're not gonna, none of these guys are gonna do it. They all have legit companies. How do you solve
I
the
would
fact that
prefer-
it's gonna be shipped in from Mexico?
I'm looking at Secretary Azar and hoping he has a great solution for that, because I do believe the
Well, that's a
FDA is
problem.
able to.
You have the same problem
to
with
do some of
drugs
that.
and everything
But
else.
but our big thing is that, and this is really where it goes back to the children, is that we have 5 million children addicted now, but what we don't want to do is have another 5 million addicted, I believe, in the flavors on the market, because children like flavors. We flavor medicines. Amoxicillin and liquids, a bubblegum flavor, because it tastes good. And medicine is good for children, but e-cigarettes are not, so they should.
Medicine is good. FDA approved pharmaceutical medicine is good for children. Vaping is not, says the pediatrician. I gotta laugh at that, guys. I gotta laugh at that. These people hate your kids. They're looking to push a control agenda, period. Jeez, man, give me a break.
Not have flavors.
If I may, on the counterfeit issue.
I like what that guy said. I can't remember who said it, but she said, this pediatrician said, these kids sleep with these jewels under their pillow and wake up and vape when they want to. And this guy goes, I sleep with a gun under my pillow, so what?
We know actually that many of these kids.
Vaccine
quit.
flavor, says
They
Steve.
need help quitting. We asked kids, what would you do if all the flavors were taken off the market, including menthol? 60%, the number one answer was quit. We've introduced a quit vaping program. You use it on your phone.
Well, of course, that's the answer. If you eliminate it, you can't get it. So 60% would say, well, I'd quit, because you got to. It's all done by government force and coercion and violence and restrictions and regulations and rules and, oh my God, land of the free, home of the brave. Yeah, right.
Since January, with almost no promotion, 60,000 kids have signed up for it. These kids are angry. They didn't sign up for this. They thought it was all fun and flavors until...
That's BS. The kids did sign up for it. Even if you're talking about a 9 or 10-year-old, they're their own person. They made their own decision. Yeah, there are consequences they weren't aware of. Yeah, but now they got to live with it, because that's called life. Don't expect a third party, especially a mafia party, to get involved and straighten out your crap that you messed up. It's your bed. You made it. You got to sleep in it. Sorry, that's just the facts of life, guys. That's just the facts of life.
And then they didn't know about it.
You have the opportunity. Thank you, Mr. President. The American Medical Association commends you for the stance you took, and I think you have an opportunity here to save a generation from addiction. We know that the youth are attracted to these flavors.
Adventures of Zion says they are so one-sided. Trump is the only one actually making sense. And I have to give Trump that. Yeah, he is making sense. So what the hell is he doing sitting at this table entertaining any of this stuff? And why isn't he just saying, hey, I just want to let you guys know this is the land of the free, home of the brave, and I intend to keep it that way. And all I need for my marching orders are the 10 amendments. Anybody got anything to add to that? Nope, didn't think so. Okay, see ya. I don't even know why I'm here.
Cigarettes. And to those who argue that e-cigarettes are effective smoking cessation, the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force has not found the evidence. They examined the evidence and has not found the evidence among adults that these products work for smoking cessation. And if they have the evidence, then they should take it to the FDA, where we can evaluate, the FDA can evaluate, and we can all make decisions based on science and the evidence.
Well, would you say it's a lesser problem than smoking cigarettes? I mean, they say that, the e-cigarettes, you stop smoking and it's better. You don't think so, Sally?
No, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. No, nicotine.
No, I know there's 27 amendments, but I'd rather stick with the Bill of Rights. I don't care about the other amendments. One of those amendments says that they can take your income tax, which wasn't even legitimately ratified as far as I can see. So when I talk about the Constitution, I am only talking about the first 10 amendments. And the reason I do that is because if you're not following the first 10 amendments, then you're not doing anything. You're not taking one step toward fulfilling the oath that you said you would fulfill. Matter of fact, it's so hypocritical because what is that? The 14th Amendment, or the 16th Amendment, which is the income tax, that goes 100% against the 4th Amendment. You shall be secure in your person's houses, papers, and effects from unreasonable searches and seizures. They're seizing your income through one of those amendments. It's just a contradictory document. That's why I like what Lysander Spooner said about the Constitution. Whether the Constitution be one thing or the other, this much is certain. It has either authorized such a government as we have, and that's a tyrannical government, or it's been unable to prevent it. In either case, the Constitution is unfit to exist. You know, when you get that knock on your door at 4 o'clock in the morning and SWAT teams out there, do you think they're going to respect your Fourth Amendment? That piece of paper is not keeping you safe. If they institute gun bans, you can. If you try to drive down the road with an automatic weapon or walk down the road with an automatic weapon, they're going to throw your ass in jail. The Constitution is not doing anything to help you. Nothing. They trample it when they will, whenever they want to.
Addiction is not good. It's bad for the children's brains. It affects
So
their
it's similar to-
attention. It affects
Okay,
their.
how does that compare, let's say, to normal smoking of cigarettes? What you're talking
Neither
about?
one are good.
They don't want to answer
Well,
that question because they don't want to admit that if an adult smoker switches to vaping, that they greatly benefit their health. The Royal College of Physicians, Public Health England, even your own former commissioner, Scott Gottlieb, has stated, smokers who switch improve their health.
It'll
just take 5 to 10 years.
Kids who are using these products are not kids who are smokers, and they're very often not kids who would have become smokers. So that the measurement of the risk for these kids.
That's not accurate.
It is consistent with all of the government studies. These aren't our figures.
Okay, Tony, go ahead.
I'm sorry, that's just not an accurate statistic. It's less than 1%. Most of the kids who have tried this product have already tried cigarettes or some other tobacco product. These are kids that have at-risk behaviors, and that is why, yes, we have to do.
They don't have that.
I'm sorry, but that's a false, I'm sorry.
All right, they're just going to go back and forth here on this. They're going to go back and forth on this statistic. I hate statistics, man. People can manipulate those so easily. Okay, so people are asking about this shooting. What's the latest with the shooting? Anybody know where that was? Let's look at the shooting. I might start a different stream for this. Actually, you know what? Let me do that. I'm gonna start a different stream for the shooting. Okay, guys. Anybody got anything else to say about this vaping thing? Let's just go ahead and close this out at an hour and 30 minutes. Cutthroat says, I'm proof vaping works as smoking cessation. I also quit vaping 10 times easier than smoking, even with vaping as a crutch. Yeah, there you go. I mean, I hear that all the time. I see it. I've witnessed it. So they want 70% tax. Notiverse says, scientifically proven that vaping nicotine alleviates the debilitating symptoms of multiple sclerosis and the number of pro-inflammatory monocytes and neutrophils that infiltrate the brain and spinal cord. There are some beneficial uses to nicotine. I have seen that. And if you can get the nicotine in you without polluting your lungs, it just seems like it would be a good thing. Like, things in certain amounts are good for you. Like, I know caffeine's a vasodilator, which kind of sounds antithetical to its own self, but caffeine can be good, nicotine can be good. It's all the 206 carcinogenic pieces of garbage that are rolled up into that cigarette that you want to stay away from. Shooting thing is south. And let's keep. All right, nicotine patch. Anything but polluting your lungs. I mean, can you imagine gumming up your alveoli on the end of your lungs that are responsible for putting the oxygen into your bloodstream? God, why would you want to limit that? All right, guys, I'm gonna look for this shooting and then I'll start up another live stream, but I want to keep this kind of separate because this video is just talking about vaping. So I really appreciate you guys joining me. Thanks for the super chats. I really appreciate the support. Hit that thumbs up button before you head out of here. And also check out the last video that I did on Andrew Yang, basically promoting the New World Order, literally. And look at my second to last video. I think you'll find it really interesting. I'll see you guys in the next heavily censored Shadow Ban live stream. Bye.